everybody, welcome to Dulcimerica. My name is Futch. Thank you very much for joining me. We are wrapping up our study of the Mountain Dulcimer in 155 tuning in the key of D, which is DAA for the Mountain Dulcimer. It's a very traditional tuning. We've been having fun with this all month long, and this study track has been largely for novice players and beginner players of the Mountain Dulcimer, but there's plenty of basics and fundamentals here that I think a lot of people can use. Thank you for joining me, everybody. My name is Futch. We're going to go out after playing this open drone and melody combo. We've worked with our note durations, looking at the whole note, the half note, quarter note, eighth note, 16th note. We've altered those durations by using slurs, ties, dots, and also rests to break things up. We've worked in 4/4 time, but we've also worked in 3/4 time and learned how to put in a little bit of backing rhythm when we're playing songs where the melody extends for a long time. We've also learned how to use an alternating pick direction when playing with 8 notes. So there's been a lot of stuff bundled in here besides just becoming really familiar with this particular situation with DAA. Now we are going to get into actually playing chords and understanding the chord theory behind everything. Make sure you pick up today's information off of Patreon by going to the link below here. And while you're doing that, I want to say hello to one of my patrons on Patreon, Susan Delp. Susan, thank you for becoming a patron and for subscribing. I am very, very thankful for you and all my patrons for making episodes of Dulcimerica possible, as well as making it possible for me to not run around in the streets having to hunt down gigs. I can just simply be here, do the research, and create wonderful things for you guys and not have to be too stressed about everything. It's been a wonderful experience for the past 5 years, and I'm looking forward to going into our 6th year with Patreon and our 13th year with Dulcimerica, thanks to you guys. So Susan and all my patrons, thank you very, very much for becoming a part of my art. And if you guys are wondering what this is all about, while you're downloading this stuff for free, mind you, make sure you go over to the featured tag section, click on Open House, and there is a whole lot more that you can download just to get a taste of what I've got available there on my Patreon site. Now, I've got all of my past stuff, all my CDs, books, videos, all my tablature is there for you to download, all access. But everything I do every single week is yours as well, just for $5 a month. So if you'd like to sign up, while you're over there, just go ahead and bookmark the site, come on back, click on the red button that says Become a Patron, sign up, and you will have instant access to everything that I produce and everything that I continue to produce going into the future. Thanks again, everybody. I really appreciate everything that you do. So let's take a look at these chords for the 155 tuning. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think these chords are a lot easier than the DAD chords, and I think they sound a lot better as well. So let's take a look at the 3 basic chord shapes, and then I will show you all the different iterations of these chords that you'll find in the D major key and also involving the D major scale. First of all, a real quick review is that our scale in DAA starts at the 3rd fret and goes to the 10th fret. So our D major scale would be okay, so 3rd fret through the 10th fret is where our scale lives. And we've got 3 basic shapes. We've got the T shape, we've got the triangle shape, and then we have the extended triangle shape. Those might seem just a little bit familiar to you from using in DAD tuning, the L shape, the slant, and the extended slant. Some of the properties of the fretboard are much the same. The relationship between the notes on the bass string and the middle string have not changed, but the melody string has been tuned down. And so that's where some of the chord shapes you knew before are a little smushed now. And so these are 3 new chord shapes if you've never played in DAA before. Let's start off with the T shape. Let's play a 3-1-3 chord. These numbers reflect bass string, middle string, and melody string whenever I call them out. It starts from the bass, goes to the middle, and then ends up on the melody. So 3rd fret bass, 1st fret middle, and 3rd fret on the melody is a T-shaped chord. And the root of this chord is on the bass string. So whatever we're playing on the bass string, we know that's going to be the name of the chord. And then we listen to the nature of the chord and see whether it's major or minor. Major chords sound up and happy. Minor chords sound kind of sad and serious. So listen to this chord. That sounds pretty happy. And we're playing G at the 3rd fret, so that is a G major chord. I can slide this shape wherever I want to up and down the fretboard, and as long as I've got this spacing, and that spacing, to get somewhere clear for you, is your root, then go back 2 frets on your middle string, and then come back up 2 frets on your melody string. And you can see the T, if you were to connect the top of the T here and then run the trunk of the T right down the middle string, that's where it gets its name from. So you can tell right here with a 5-3-5 chord that right now I'm playing B on the bass string. So we know it's going to be a B of some sort. Listen to the quality and the nature of the chord. Sounds kind of sad and serious. That's going to be a B minor chord. So we can move that chord shape up and down the fretboard. That is what we call a closed chord. That means that I'm pushing down every single string. No strings are droning. That's a closed chord. With closed chord shapes, we can move them up and down the fretboard and they will still maintain their integrity. If I were to play a 2-0-3 chord or a 1-0-2 chord, both of those are full-fledged chords, but you'll notice I'm not doing anything on the middle string. So because I'm not pressing down on at least one string and at least one string is droning, that is called an open chord. And these chords do not hold their integrity as you move them up the fretboard because you always have one string at least that you're not changing. So as I continue to move these 2 fingers up the fretboard, you can see how the chord begins to sort of lose the fabric, the texture, that tightness, and that richness. It's still a chord, but it's not as tightly voiced. And what you've got there are parallel harmonies that you're changing and keeping a drone running there. Sometimes you desire that and sometimes you don't. That's the basic difference between closed chords and open chords. Let's get on back to our closed chords shapes, and then we've got our T shape we've gone through here. Let's now look at the triangle chord and play a 4-3-5. With the triangle chord, you'll lead off on the bass string and then go back 1 fret on the middle string and then come up 2 frets on the melody. The root of the chord is going to be on the middle string. So right now on the middle string, I'm playing a D, and if we listen to the nature of this chord, it's up and happy. So this would be a D major chord. But if I were to play a 2-1-3 chord, and notice that I'm allowing for an additional half step here because I have the 1.5 fret. Otherwise, those would all be frets that are right next door to each other. So sometimes you will have to make allowances depending on if you've got extra frets or not. If the chord does not sound very strongly like a major chord or a minor chord, it might mean that you've included an extra half step in there and just need to adjust one of those notes to make it sound either major or minor. This one right now, I am playing B on the middle string, so that is going to be a B minor as well. Compare this B minor with this B minor. Same chord, different shape, and a different voicing of that chord. The notes in that chord are located in different areas, and so we're changing how it sounds, how its voice sounds, by playing it in different configurations. So once again, this is a closed chord shape, the triangle, and can be moved. All over the fretboard. Then we are going to do an extended triangle. So if we took that triangle that we just played and simply take the melody string and the bass string and move them both up 1 fret, we now have an extended triangle, or a lopsided triangle. I'm sure there are other names for this. I think a lot of people call it a triangle, an extended triangle. I do not know. Anyway, with this case, the melody is now, or the melody string is now the root of the chord. Here I am playing a G, so this configuration would be a G major chord. What a nice easy switch from the triangle to the extended triangle. It also happens to be the 1 chord and the 4 chord. And you could very easily get into your 5 chord by coming, or not your 4 chord, but yeah, coming down here. Your A chord, your 5 chord would be way down here. So it's an easy move for your 1 to your 4 chord. So just a review of the chord shapes and where the root of the chord is located. T-shaped chord, root is on the bass string. The triangle chord, root is on the middle string. And the extended triangle, root is on the melody string. If you know what note you have there, you then just have to listen to the nature of the chord, the quality of the chord, and figure out if it's major or minor. If it doesn't sound strongly either way, then you might have included another half step in there and may have to adjust your fingers just a little bit. All right, so let me kind of walk you through some of the other chords that we can play. I'm going to put this tab up on the screen for those of you who were not able to download the tablature, so you can get a nice big eyeful of it. And we're going to start off with a 2-0-3 chord I showed you earlier. These are D major chords. Nice, easy 2-finger chord here for D major 2-0-3. We already played with the next chord, 4-3-5. And then our T-shaped chord, 7-5-7. For E minor, we can use a 1-1-1 chord. It's not technically an E minor chord, but it will pass as an E minor. It's basically an E5 chord is what we're playing there. And we'll definitely be talking about that in future episodes. We also have a 3-1-4. Sorry, 3-1-4. That's going to be an E minor as well. And then we've got a 5-4-6. Triangle, that's going to be an E minor. For F sharp minor, these are all the naturally occurring chords that you will find in D major in that key. 2-0-2. That'll give you F sharp minor. Then we got 6.5-5-7. Another F sharp minor. We have 4-2-5. Extended triangle, that's going to give you F sharp minor as well. For G major, T-shaped 3-1-3. Then we get into 5-3-6. We looked at that just a while ago. That is an extended triangle. And then we have a 7-6-8. That is a triangle. Notice that I have to compensate for the 6.5 fret, and I've got another fret right in between there. So those frets are not all right next to each other. I'm making the adjustment because of that half step. Remember, sometimes you're going to have to do that because we keep adding frets to the mountain dulcimer. Not that I'm complaining. 7-6-8. All right, going on to A major, 102. Nice 2-finger chord, nice and low and rich. 4-2-4. T-shaped chord. 6.5-4-7 for an extended triangle. For B minor, 2, 1, 3 would be our triangle. 5, 3, 5, our T shape. And 7, 5, 8, our extended triangle. Those are all chords built off of notes 1 through 6 of the D major scale. We have another one that is not used a whole bunch, but we should still mention it. That is the C sharp diminished, 6.5, 6, and 4. And that will give you a C sharp diminished chord, all of the naturally occurring chords for the key of D major. The one thing that you may be expecting you can do on with this is to take all those chords and to flip them over, just like you do with DAD tuning. Unfortunately, you can't do that here because this is a non-symmetrical tuning. DAD is perfectly symmetrical. 1, 5, and 8. We have a D on the bass string, the melody string, and then we have our 5th on the middle string. So all those chords can be revoiced by flipping them over. We get these inversions by flipping the chords over. In this tuning, we get a whole different kind of chord, and that is going to be a study for somewhere down the road. But right now, know that you can just play them in these positions and you'll get these wonderfully tightly textured and wonderfully voiced chords for DAA. Play with them, hang out with this. If you've got a spare dulcimer somewhere, have one of your dulcimers tuned in 155. If you really want to tune it down to CGG, and listen to all the wonderful new tones you can get from the instrument. I love this tuning, and I think you will too the more you spend time with it. So I hope this month has been helpful to you in all forms. We really hit it hard in the DAA tuning, and now for the month of December, we're going to look at DAD, and we're going to mix it up between novice and beginner, intermediate, and some advanced music as well. So remember, folks, play a little bit every single day, enjoy what you do, enjoy your journey, and know that next time I see you, we'll have even more fun together. Thanks again for watching, everybody. We'll see you soon.